I'll be completely honest. Prior to being a part of this video, I hadn't really played Zelda 2 in any capacity for a very long time. Many years, in fact. I'd seen videos on it, some good, some bad, and so when I sat down to play this again, I decided to come at it with a fresh set of eyes. Fresh in the sense that I was going to pretend it was 1987 all over again. No magazines, no internet, no walkthroughs, just walk in blind, like I was a kid, and see what I could experience. And let me tell you folks, I am not a fan. I admit, at my age, I'm getting soft when it comes to playing video games, and I'm not as down for a challenge as I used to be, apparently. But there's challenge in terms of gameplay and fine motor skills, and then there's exploration challenge. Both are fine, but considering all that, Zelda 2, to me, is not very enjoyable. Sure, it's pretty linear, there's only so many places you can go initially, though I suppose that really you can go anywhere, it's just a matter of how quickly you want to die. Traverse the overworld and run into bad guys, cool, nothing too over the top there. You find baddies, you fight them, and you earn experience points to level up. Only sometimes when you run into enemies, there's no enemies to fight. Maybe there's some back-end programming reason why enemies don't show up, be it on purpose or accidentally, but it's a reoccurring incident that often makes you sit there and scratch your head. Let's also talk a little bit about the experience points that you earn. Like many games, you level up your skills after defeating bad guys and gaining experience points. Leveling up skills can lead to greater magic, better health, a stronger attack. You know all this, I don't need to explain it to you. But boy oh boy is Zelda 2 a grind. Not in the overall sense, but when it comes to getting experience points, it's a long road. When you defeat enemies, you do gain experience, but 2 experience points here and 5 experience points there. It's not so bad in the early parts of the game when you only need to reach, say, 100 points. And sure, you can find these P bottles that give you some extra experience, but when you get upwards of 500 points you need to earn or more to get that next upgrade, that's a lot of enemies to defeat to level up. I ran into this area where enemies just happened to respawn infinitely, so I took advantage of this situation. But even then, it was a grind just to get to that next level. Oh, and one thing I didn't mention, sometimes enemies just don't offer up any experience points at all, and that can be a little frustrating. The towns are fine, but they're all the same. Same garish brick and mortars with inept NPCs, and they contribute very little to your quest. I know nothing. Hello, and we all remember this fella. To be fair, talking to everyone in town is advantageous, and you should do it, because they do offer up hints as to what to do next. Take for example this young squire, who tells you fire will help you see in the dark. There are other instances where these hints can offer up some subtle clue as to what's next, but it's up to you to figure out what it means. Some are simple, some might be more complex. Again, it all depends on how you decipher what they're saying. For someone nowadays, that might be fine, and for others who like a little bit more black and white with their clues, they might interpret it as not being enough. My biggest gripe with Zelda 2 is the enemies. Yes, some are simple in nature, but given the mechanics, the hit detection, and the kickback you endure while engaging these enemies, it's a bit of an exercise in frustration. You can quite literally lose half or more of your life in a battle with some random enemy, and when trying to advance to the next screen, it can be a little off-putting. The experience system is fine, as I mentioned previously, but it's not without its own challenges. Sure, anything you achieve in terms of experience sticks with you when you die, as long as you save, remember that. But if you die 3 times, you'll be greeted by this haunting vision of Ganon, with 0 experience points earned when you start up again. Total experience and skill improvements, you can keep those, but 3 strikes in 1 playthrough, and you can start earning 2 points at a time all over again. Like I mentioned, just remember to save before you shut off the game. Zelda 2 is not the worst game I've played on the NES, but it's far from my favorite. To be transparent, I'm not even the biggest fan of the Zelda franchise. I enjoyed the original, but I haven't played a whole lot in the franchise, despite owning almost every Zelda game over the years. I bought them with intentions to play because it's Zelda, right? Playing this back for the first time in a long time, it just wasn't an enjoyable experience for me. I found it difficult in areas where it didn't need to be difficult, and I questioned some of the mechanics and changes from the original iteration. Now, I know there are those who are watching this right now who are saying, "Get good, noob," or "Be better, it's not that hard, you just suck." There are also those who are more encouraging in nature, saying, "It's not so bad, it's a wonderful story about exploration and uncovering clues to complete the ultimate experience through Hyrule. Give it some more time and a little bit of effort, and you too can enjoy navigating Link throughout his journey." And you know what? Both are probably right. I'd like to thank Zero Score for asking for my thoughts on this game, but I don't think I'm going to. It might be a while before I forgive you for asking me to play Zelda 2 again, so thanks for nothing.